Solar energy is changing the way people obtain energy for their homes. And joining me right now is Adam McClellan from Vivint Solar. And Adam, a lot of people are really starting to go down the path of getting panels for their home. What's the main incentive to do so?
Sure. Well, first, thanks for having me on. I'm really excited to be here today, and I'm glad you guys invited me down. So we started out here about 5 years ago, the company, and when we first started, Boston was our second market. Now we're the second largest company in the country behind Solar City, and Boston was our second market nationally. And we went from 0 customers. We've got well over 15,000 customers now. And solar, Massachusetts specifically, is one of the hottest markets in the country for residential solar. So the biggest reason why is the local utility prices out here are pretty expensive. National Grid, Eversource, Unitel, some of these power companies are charging 20 to 25 cents per kilowatt hour. So every time your meter spins, you're paying about a quarter on your property.
Okay.
So if you're a homeowner, you know that every time your meter's spinning, you're paying a quarter, and then at the end of the month, they just multiply how many times did your meter spin by a quarter, and that's your bill. The other thing that's really attracting people to solar is the rates from the power companies have pretty dramatically increased over the last 5 years. When I first started out here 5 years ago, the power companies were charging about 13 to 14 cents per kilowatt hour, and now they're charging in the mid-20s.
Okay.
So their rates are really going up, and I know that only sounds like 7 to 8 cents, but when you're using 1 to 2, 3,000 kilowatt hours a month, that's a $50, $60, $70 difference in your monthly bill. So our offering is we don't make our money selling solar panels per se. We're essentially becoming an energy company. And what we do is we install the panels at no cost to the homeowner, so their entry fee or their entrance into the panels is zero. And the way that we make our money is the power that those panels are making, we're just selling it at a cheaper rate than what the power companies can make it for. So anything that we're making a homeowner, they no longer have to pay National Grid or Eversource for. And our cost for power is 12.9 cents. As opposed to the 22 cents that they're paying with National Grid.
Okay, so that power that's coming into the panels, it's being used for that person's home. If there's excess, is it going to another power grid where you're drawing from?
Yeah, good question. So it doesn't, a lot of people get confused. It doesn't matter what time of day you're using power, what time of day we're making power. What happens is at the end of each month, all we're doing is we're saying how many times did our meter spin versus how many times did the power company's meter spin. We bill you for what we make you, and then whatever we didn't make. And it's in Massachusetts, you got to remember, we don't live in like Arizona or Florida, wherever, where there's just endless amount of sun, right? So it's pretty rare that we're making 100% of someone's power. So the power companies are still supplementing most homeowners that have solar with a little bit of power each month. So. Okay. To answer your question, that excess power is pretty rare. Most people are, making power on their roof. They're buying the cheaper power from us, and then whatever we can't make them or whatever their roof can't make them, they're still buying from the utility company.
Okay, so for the average homeowner in the greater Boston area, let's just throw out a price of a $500,000 home in a suburb that's 2,000 square feet,
sure,
right?
Yeah.
What's the ballpark savings for a homeowner that puts these solar panels on their property?
Great question. So the first thing that you always got to remember is, again, our price is 12.9 cents versus the 22 cents they're paying with the utility company, right? So you've got roughly 9 cents. Every time we make 1 kilowatt hour of power for somebody, they're saving 9 cents. Okay. So it all just depends on how big their system is, how many panels we can get on the home. And this, I think one of the biggest reasons this has taken off, it's really, really rare for a company and a consumer to have their goals perfectly aligned. Because our customers, they want as much of their bill coming from us as possible because our power is just cheaper. So they're all like, hey, we want you guys to load up our roof with as many panels as you can get on there, because we want all of our power coming from you guys, right? The way that we make money is by making power for people. So we're both on the same page. We're like, no, we're all on the same page together here. We're trying to make as much power as we can for you. You're hoping all your power comes from us because that's how you save money. So long story short, average customer in Massachusetts usually has anywhere between 20 and 30 panels on their home. That'll save them anywhere from $500 to $700 a year on their power bill.
Oh, wow.
So it's not like we're sending people on a cruise or a vacation or whatever, but $500-700 is a pretty good deal. Yeah, especially when it costs you nothing to install it, right?
Without question. Now, coming from the mortgage lending side, I know that there are situations out there, people get the solar panels, then they go to sell their home, and there could be potential headaches. It seems like there's a gray area out there. The real estate community really doesn't understand how to deal with these solar panels right now. And from a lending side, I know it can be a hiccup with the loan. How do you get around that?
Yeah, and those are all valid points. So every customer that we're setting up, there's typically 3 to 5 questions that they all have. And if they don't think of them, we'll usually say, hey, a couple of questions or concerns you haven't thought of yet are, when you go to sell your home, how does it work, right? Because when we're setting up a homeowner, it's usually like a 4 to 8 week process to kind of get them from initial appointment to their system installed. So they got plenty of time to do all their research. So we try to make sure we're, educating them on these types of questions along the process. So to get to the point, one of the documents, and this has been a little bit of a source of controversy over the past 5 years, or I guess maybe confusion. One of the documents we have to file is what they call a UCC1, which is the same exact document that you would use to file a lien on a property. There's a box in the bottom right-hand corner that we check every single time. It's box 6. I know this because it comes up all the time. It's box 6B, where it specifically states this is a non-UCC1, which therefore makes it not a lien.
Okay.
Right on our contract, right on our cover page, it specifically says this is not a lien that we're putting on the home. But the reason that we have to file it, every county that we operate in requires us to file this document so that the homeowner's property taxes aren't increased. So when we're installing a $20,000 to $30,000, $40,000 system on someone's home, when we first started out here, the property assessors would come back out, try and reevaluate the property tax, and then add property tax to the homeowner.
Yeah.
So then we would call the city and say, no, you can't up their property tax. We're just creating power for these guys. It's no different than putting a dish satellite on your roof.
Sure.
You didn't buy the dish, you're just buying the service coming from the dish, right? So anyway, the more we can educate realtors and lenders alike, the less issues that we have with it. And a lot of the big banks, it's a complete non-issue. Some of the smaller banks, we've had to definitely get on the phone and kind of walk them through how it all works. And there has even been times where we've temporarily removed it for 90 days or whatever while the home sale's closing or whatever, and then we'll have to, the county requires us to file it though, so we have to have it on there. So
going back to the homeowner side, if it doesn't cost you anything up front, right? What's the negative to it? Why wouldn't you do it?
It's a good question. A lot of people, it was interesting. So I was the first sales rep that started out here, and our first market we started in was New Jersey. And so when I would have people like saying, hey, do you have any references for me? I would be like, yeah, let me give you a couple phone numbers. And they were all New Jersey numbers. And they're like, what are these New Jersey numbers? I'm like, well, they're the only customers we have so far.
People from Boston and Jersey usually have, Yankee Red Sox crew.
It didn't go real well. So, and that was fine. But once we started getting, the early adopters were the ones that were getting it initially. The people that were wanted to kind of see, how it worked. We kind of got them second, third time around. And then now we've crossed this tipping point where now there's so many people that have, you can't drive into a neighborhood in Massachusetts without seeing solar on a home. And in another 5-10 years, it'll be weird if you don't have solar on your house, because your neighbors are going to go, what are you doing? Why are you still paying full price for power? Everyone in the neighborhood already has it. At this point, what are you waiting for, kind of thing, right? So I do think solar is a big deal. And there are different products out there. So we primarily do what we call a power purchase agreement, where they're just zero down, they're just buying the power from us. We also have an ownership program where it's still zero down, and we have like an in-house financing program that we'll do if they actually just want to own their system. And then people can buy them cash from us as well. If they're like, hey, we just want to buy it and just own our panels, then that's fine too. So there's different products. So that's I don't want to say muddying the water, but it's giving people more to think about, where they're trying to figure out, okay, we know we want solar, how do we want to do it? And then of course you have different companies, different sales guys telling customers, oh, you definitely want to do it this product because that's the only product they offer.
Sure.
Whereas some companies are like, well, we offer all three, so whatever you want to do, so anyway. And then I think aesthetics, some people just don't like how they look. I mean, if somebody's like, I don't want the panels on front of my house, then
But the way the world is going green, right? And I feel like that this fits into that category. It's an efficient way to get energy. Sounds like a great way to do it, and I really appreciate you stopping by. And if somebody wants to connect with you directly, what's the best way to do so?
So our website, just go to vivintsolar.com. It's VIVINT solar.com. So vivintsolar.com. Or you can just call me on my cell phone. I'll come hook you up.
Sounds good. Thank you, Adam.
Appreciate it.
And remember, this is Real Estate Powered by Hub.